Hello and welcome to Conducting, Citing, and Proper Use of Historical Research for National History Day Projects. I am Matthew Wilcox, and this is EDT 630 with St. Thomas University. Topic selection and focus. Your topic needs to relate to the annual National History Day theme. This year's theme is Frontiers in History. The theme does change every year and is narrow enough for you to find a specific part or time in history in which you do your research, all the while being broad enough to allow you to choose from a multitude of topics. Once you have selected your topic, it is vital that you start your research on that topic. There are numerous places to find information, but it is important that you choose information from reputable places that have peer review or are open to examination by scholars. Some relevant places to find source materials include historical archives, libraries, universities, museums, government agencies, and other primary and secondary source materials. In the bottom left corner, there is a helpful video discussing how to use Chronicling America's Advanced Search through the Library of Congress, and will assist you in finding over 4,000 newspapers from the years 1777 to 1963.
Chronicling America is a research tool created through a partnership between the National Endowment for the Humanities and the Library of Congress. It allows you to search nearly 4,000 newspapers printed between 1777 and 1963. This video will teach you how to do an advanced search. Let's assume you are researching people who opposed Adolf Hitler's rise to power. You want to look at the time period from January 1933, when he became Germany's chancellor, to the start of World War II in 1939. First, go to chroniclingamerica.loc.gov. You might begin with a basic search, adding in keywords and dates. You could set the date range from 1933 to 1939, and use Hitler and Germany as search terms.
Sorting through the research. After reviewing the many sources you have found on your topic, it is important that you start to connect the pieces. This means that you need to arrange source materials around your topic and start to develop a thesis or argument in which the information will support. Creating a thesis may sound difficult, but it usually comes naturally after reading enough source material and discovering the intricacy of your historical topic. Here is a video of Stanley Nelson, a film producer, who discusses interviews for documentary film work.
I think that having reliable, credible people that we talk to and interview is just essential. You know, if they're not reliable and they're not credible, then it throws off the whole credibility of the project. So that we have to vet people, we have to understand and know that people know what they're talking about. And you know, sometimes people don't. I mean, everybody likes to talk. You know, so one of the things that we try to do, so for an example, if we're doing a film about Attica and we're interviewing the former prisoners, right? They cannot tell us about what Governor Rockefeller or President Nixon was thinking at the time. What we want to know from them is what happened in the yard, where they were trapped in the yard. So I think it's essential that we make sure that people talk about what they know about, and that we make sure that they are credible in what they talk about.
Primary and secondary sources. There are two main source selections in which will guide your research, and that is primary and secondary sources. Primary sources are those sources in which had first-hand accounts from the people in which had direct contact with them. This may include diaries, journals, newspapers, documents, speeches, clothing, tools, weapons, and so on. In a historical project, it is always wise to resort to primary documents first, as they are the history for which you research. Secondary sources are materials that discuss primary sources and the original event. These sources usually come from academics describing an event in time and build their own narratives. Most importantly, secondary source material is created around an author's thesis and is usually trying to prove an argument, unlike primary source material, in which is the history itself. Here is a helpful video to describe both primary and secondary sources.
Primary means first, or first-hand. So think of primary sources as materials that are first-hand. They're connected to an historical event because they were created during the time of the event or because they involve someone who participated firsthand.
Proper source citing. According to the NHD Rule Number 20, you may use either Chicago-style or MLA-style citations. It is preferred that you get accustomed to Chicago-style citations when conducting historical research. However, it is not mandated for the National History Day contests. It is, however, extremely important that whichever citation style you choose, that you maintain that style throughout your work. Taking a closer look at Chicago-style citations, you will need to have footnotes after each citation within your work. To do this, Microsoft Word is user-friendly and widely accepted word processing software and is the example for demonstration purposes. Open a Word document and click on References at the top ribbon. There you will see a tab for footnotes. Once you have typed a sentence containing information from your research, you will need to insert a footnote after the sentence's endmark. Here is an example of how the footnote will appear on your word processor and how the Chicago-style footnote needs to be arranged at the bottom of the paper. Keep in mind that the little numbers that follow a sentence need to correspond with the same number at the bottom of the sheet and represent the primary or secondary source in which you found that research. MLA citation is also permitted as it is widely used in many schools across the country. MLA style includes in-text citations that include the author's name and the page number from which you found the information. This is easily done for secondary sources as many of those have an author and a page for which to find the information. However, this process is the same for primary documents as well, depending on what item you cite. In your Works Cited section, or the bibliography section of your work, you will need to place the MLA style citation in alphabetical order, based on the author's last name. If you have difficulty following the Chicago or MLA style citation examples, there are free online citation generators that may assist you in generating your citations. A couple of good generators may be found at mybib.com or citationmachine.net. This ends this educational video on how to conduct, cite, and properly use historical research for National History Day projects. Again, I am Matthew Wilcox, and thanks for watching.